Fellow Biafrans, quote, Boko Haram, unquote, which says, quote, education is sin, unquote, quote, education is prohibited, unquote, quote, Western education is banned, unquote. There you have it all. This is the mentality of Muslim Nigeria, for which Northern Muslims are quite willing to die. This is the belief of Muslim Northern Nigeria, which they want to impose on Nigeria, and for which they are ready to die. Education is sin. So, are these the people you want to belong to the same country with? After all, did not Ojukwu, echoing Ohanaeze, prescribe one Nigeria for the Igbo? And did not Edwin Clark, his Delta counterpart, prescribe one Nigeria for the Niger Delta? Quote, education is sin, unquote. And the Northern Nigerian Muslim who insist on this drove home their point by destroying whatever they could and didn't flinch about their own death and injury in the ensuing course of bloody events. Yet, this is the group that you want, quote-unquote, true federalism in Nigeria, whatever nonsense that means, with. It is this group who says that education is sin that you want to share a federation with. Wasn't it the same Efulefu Ojukwu who was recently talking about, quote, true federalism, unquote, in Nigeria to support his harebrained idea of Igbo staying in one Nigeria? And same for Edwin Clark, quote, education is prohibited, unquote. So says the Northern Nigerian Muslim as a matter of policy which they defend staunchly by their bloody offensive, oblivious of taking casualty. We ask you, is this the group you want to share a country with? Silly Ojukwu once again was parroting Ohanaeze's stupid perennial plea with Nigeria. Quote, give us one more state in the southeast, unquote. One more Igbo state in this Nigeria where, quote, education is prohibited, unquote, and the prohibitionists will gladly die to implement their policy? Really silly Ojukwu. Quote, Western education is banned, unquote, is the battle cry of the Muslim North, and they are engaged in a bloody battle to defend and or implement this mindset. Is this the group that you want to share the proceeds from your own natural resources with? Is this the group you want to play the game of so-called quote-unquote resource control in Nigeria with? Ojukwu, Edwin Clark, and a few other Biafrans in Nigeria's political class apparently will answer yes to this rhetoric question. We say no. We say that is crazy and idiotic. While Biafrans who should be supporting the masses of our people working to get away from those who believe without question that, quote, education is sin, unquote, play their silly and sycophantic game, let us point out to you that the death of these Muslim prohibitionists has not been for nothing, because already Nigeria has been fulfilling their plan on their behalf. Ask yourself this question: what has really happened to education in Biafra land today? And by the way, did not the Muslim northern rulers of Nigeria just try to dismantle the petroleum studies educational institutions in the Niger Delta, while at the same time beefing up the one they set up in the heart of the northern Muslim kingdom, Kaduna? Yes, first the Nigerian government, run by the Muslim North, destroys education in Biafra. Then the same government tries to set it up in the north, where of course the Muslim North either ignore it completely or demolish it, since such education is sin to them. Indeed, the Muslim North is succeeding in its plans to destroy education in Nigeria, which basically translates to the destruction of an iconic Biafran engagement and pursuit. Why then would any thinking Biafran want to stay in one Nigeria? Quote, education is sin, unquote. Those who die today to defend this stance have one more pronouncement for you, and it is, quote, sharia for entire Nigeria, unquote. They are equally dead serious about sharia, with emphasis on dead. In fact, they are more serious and ever more willing to force sharia on the rest of Nigeria, and totally ready to destroy all and die themselves in so doing. So, when you hear anyone trying to defend one Nigeria or trying to sell one Nigeria to our people, turn your head to one side and spit in disgust. Actively ignore such afterwards, because he or she has a psychiatric illness. It is called a quote delusion, unquote, and it means a fixed false belief, in this case that one Nigeria exists, or that one Nigeria is possible, or that one Nigeria can work. We know that that is not true. Any institution or organization in Biafra land that purports to support one Nigeria is a hostile unit. Such is not our friend and should never be looked upon to represent or defend our real interests. Let's not make any exceptions regarding this. Biafra has always embraced education. Biafra thrives on Western education. The ability to challenge ourselves, to expand our minds, and to increase our reach through education is regarded by us as a divine right. That we Biafrans so excel in this, we regard as a divine gift. Biafra is the assurance that we continue to value education, that we are actively engaged in education at all times, and that we thrive therein as always. We have nothing in common with those whose kingdom is built on their chosen belief, principle, and mantra that, quote, education is sin, unquote. We have nothing in common with those whose ideology is based on sharia. There is no reason in this whole world, in the entire universe for that matter, to share a country with such when they can belong in their own separate enclave, and we, in turn, in our own separate sovereign and independent nation. No more Nigeria for our people. No more one Nigeria for us. Biafra it is. Biafra it is for us. Right now, we stand by our demand that Nigeria must release our courageous Biafran people still remaining in Nigeria's filthy jails. Our brethren whose only crime is that they insisted, correctly too, that we, Biafrans, should not, do not, and will not belong in one Nigeria. Release them all now. Biafra alive, because it is God who makes it so.